fan and he goes. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Aaliyah. Today we're joined with
Tanae!
And for this episode, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite movies of all time. Many people have very strong opinions about this movie and about this franchise, but I don't care. It is one of my favorite movies, and today we're going to be talking about Twilight. Trigger warning. Twilight, vampires, sparkly boys, dog boys.
Sun, but not dying.
Yes. Contradictions.
Inaccuracies.
Ooh, gaslighting. Make sure that's on the list because there's a lot of that in this movie.
Bad acting.
Hey, but let's not get there. So how we're gonna do this is pretty much go through the whole first movie of Twilight, and I'm gonna try my hardest not to talk about any of the other movies outside of this one. So just the first movie of Twilight and like general Twilight conversation topics. Team Edward or Team Jacob?
So when I was younger, I'm not gonna lie, I was Team Jacob. Now that I'm older and I watched it, Team Jacob.
You see, when I was younger, I watched the movie Team Edward, and when I grew up, Team Edward, because that boy, he really played his role, you know?
Listen, it's not even about this movie. Shark Boy?
Tell me why one of my coworkers is like, but who did you know first though? It's like,
well,
what? So the movie Twilight begins with Bella moving to her dad's home in Fort Washington because her mom is going to be traveling with her new boo who's a sportsman. Speaking of Charlie, his relationship with Bella is just so weird. It reminds me of my relationship with my dad. Just like, you know, just like generic dad talk. Just like, how's your tire pressure? You know, what's your gas looking like? You're alive? Great!
I call them the NPCs of our life.
And I've seen dads who are like not NPCs, so I feel like I would know. And Charlie's definitely NPC dad, for sure. He tries his best, you know, to have his little stake in football, but you can only go so far with that. You wouldn't talk about boys, Bella. What did he say? You like any of the
Yahoos?
You like any of the Yahoos in town, Bella?
I don't like that he ordered her salad, but she seemed to like it. So that's just a personal preference for me. And that would have made me mad. If I walk in, he's like, oh yeah, I got myself this steak and potatoes and fries and stuff, and here's your
an avocado salad or something.
Or whatever nonsense. Like not even a chicken, like there's no meat.
Bella, how she talks about her dad too makes him sound like an NPC. One thing I like about Charlie, he doesn't hover. You would have swear it was an actual like working relationship. Like he's one thing I like about Charlie, he's not a micromanager. Like that's the one it sounded like.
Her mother doesn't have her either, what it sounds like too. So like, what are you really missing?
Very unsupervised. I feel like Bella. The only reason this movie was able to happen is because she is unsupervised.
You get mad when like parents are dumb, but they have to be, because any other scenario, this would not work. Yeah. Like, for these shows to be so magical and these movies to be so magical, they have to have parents who are outright just, like, not paying attention.
Neglectful. After she moves back with Charlie, she meets up with an old childhood friend, Jacob. Oh, my 20 plus times of watching this movie and reading all of the books. And just to find out Jacob, or Taylor Lautner, is not even Native American.
He's a white boy.
Any of Jake's brothers could have been Jake, and it just wouldn't.
You know what? There is an actor on the cast that would have been a perfect Jacob, and I love that man with my whole heart. Y'all should know him. He was in Descendants.
Boo Boo?
Yes, Boo Boo Stewart. I love that man. That's a Jacob that I would never not. He could do anything, and I'd be like, But it's Jacob. It's Boo Boo. What are you talking about?
But the fact that he wasn't Native American and he had the long hair and it threw me off because it was like this whole time 70 miles.
Was it real or weave?
I think it was fake. I think it was a wig. I think it was a wig.
Like his career. Fake. Oh, I'm just kidding, Taylor. You married your Taylor. Weird thing.
Wait, he married a Taylor?
Yes. I swear. Okay, y'all thought it was cute, right? But he's definitely going after Taylor's, because how are you gonna date the Taylors, you know, Taylor Swift and Taylor Lautner, and then marry a Taylor.
Someone has a type.
And it's people with your name. Narcissist much? But Team Jacob.
So she meets up with Taylor, and then she finds out that he actually goes to a different school, so she won't be going to school with someone that she knew. But, I mean, that didn't seem like a problem, seeing as when she actually went to school, all the boys were just crazy over her. So I don't think that was a problem.
City girls up too.
As soon as she got on campus, they were taking pictures of her. They had a planned, like, headline in a newspaper for her. The second day, people were asking her out to, like, their little spring formal. I'm like...
Y'all don't get new people, huh? Like, there's no, there's no
small
reason
town
for that. No offense to her, she mid. Like, if I've ever heard, not Kristen Stewart, Bella. Bella, you're mid. I don't understand. There's so many other, like, all those vampire girlies that are, like, interesting.
The fact that Mike was looking at Bella over the Cup Girl.
The Cup Girl. Yeah, Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, the fact that he was looking at Bella over Anna Kendrick, I was just like, Anna Kendrick is throwing herself on you, and you're over here just like, hey Bella, new girl on the block.
Talking about that character recovery, because Anna Kendrick, I forget that she's in Twilight every time I see her. All I can think of cups.
But she killed it in that movie, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, very bratty, very bitchy. I liked it. There's this one scene where she's first introduced to Mike, and she hits him with the volleyball. And instead of being like apologetic, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I told them they shouldn't let me play."
I remember.
It's like,
and he validates that feeling. That's the crazy
he's
part.
He's just like, "Hey, it's okay. Yeah.
Really...
So you're new in town?"
Like, you just hit me with the volleyball. They shouldn't let me play. Sorry?
Bella's just so awkward in this movie. It's ridiculous. Hi, Max. One day while they're sitting in the cafeteria, the Cullens come in, and Anna Kendrick's character is basically, like, going through each one and explaining, like, oh, yeah, these are the Cullens. Like, they were adopted by Mr. Cullen, and they're, like, in an adopted, incesty, but not incest because they're not related, relationship. I wish I was a part of that.
Everyone's so weird how they're okay with that.
It's so weird.
The Fosters, like, what are you doing in this movie?
It's okay to shame sometimes.
Sometimes. And in that movie, that part is where where Bella's character should have been like, ew.
Like, they're all dating their siblings that were adopted. What about Carlisle's part in this? Because no, I'm gonna be like, you're the dad that has all his adopted children dating. I don't like that, you know?
What were you teaching them when they were young?
So she gets this little walkthrough of the Cullens. So we have Jasper and Alice, Edward, of course, Rosalie and Emmett. And they all do their little stroll through, and everyone's like gawking at them. And I mean, Edward can hear everyone like talking about him. So Anna's just like, Anna Kendrick character is just like, you shouldn't even try to bother them. Like, obviously, like, they're just too good for us. And Edward's just like, But then, after this scene, the infamous scene, Bella goes to her chemistry class, and she sees her seat is right next to Mr. Edward Cullen. And you would think, after already knowing of the presence of this girl, that it should have been a normal interaction. Mm-hmm. But as we know, it was everything but. Bella walks in the scene, there's a fan blowing, they're learning about stuff, right? And then you look over at Edward, and he's just like... And then Bella like stands in front of the she stands in front of the fan and he goes like you literally see him brace himself because of like the smell, or he made it seem like she was stank.
There's no way a man says in so many ways and verbally that I stink. And I go, that Edward. And chase after him.
That's my dream, boo.
Dude, if a man even looked at me and went, it smells weird, even trying to like ask me if it smells weird, I'm like, are you?
It's like, no, I'm never talking to you again.
You asking me, do you smell that? And then looking at me and saying like, you don't smell that? You're insinuating that it's a weird smell that I don't smell, meaning that it's my smell. No.
Because she just came from lunch, I'm thinking, right? So she was sitting around a whole the whole time people coming up to her. They're enjoying her company. Everyone's having a great time around her. She's getting friendly with people. And then I go to chemistry class, and you're sitting there
revolted. And
like,
then immediately after.
That's the part where I would have dropped out of this school, like entirely.
The next time I see your ass, you're trying to drop the class because of my smell.
So Bella, she leaves her chemistry class. She's just like, oh, that's weird. Maybe I should change classes because that's weird. She walks into the guidance counselor, like the office, and there's Edward. They're standing there, and the lady's like, no, sir. All the classes are full. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to keep staying in your, I think it's biology. You have to keep staying in your science class. And then she turns around and Bella's just like, oh. Hi. Exactly. I would have immediately just like went home.
Just go to the teacher. Hey, I need to switch seats.
I have
a vision issue.
I'm dropping out. I don't feel safe. And then it got worse. The science class happened, right? With the smell. Then he tries to change class and she catches him. And then he goes missing for the next 2 days. Then she's like, and then I came back to class and he just never showed up. And then a couple days passed and he just never showed up. And then he shows up and he immediately tries to gaslight her. Edward disappears for a couple days. Then he comes back and his eyes are different because when Bella first met him, his eyes were like very jet blacky, like they're very big. And then she sees him again the second time and now they're like hazel, they're like light brown, and he seems like happier. He's like, hey, how are you? How's your day? How's the weather? And she's like, what happened with your eyes? I thought they were black, now they're like hazel. And he goes, it's fluorescence, and then walks away. He literally, watch the scene back. I swear it's the most awkward thing I've ever seen. It's the fluorescence. Immediately tries to leave.
There's only so many ways you can say it. Leave me alone.
So now Bella's like in this like weird relationship where she's like, you hate me? Do you like me? Do you hate me? And it just keeps going that way. They go on this field trip and he's still being gaslighty towards her. He's just like, we shouldn't be friends. And then we're at the field trip. I trip over something. Can't you watch where you're walking? I was like, do you care about me or do you not care about me? And then after the field trip, we had a little disagreement. And your sister walks up, Alice walks up to Bella. She's like, oh, are you riding with us, Bella? He goes, the bus is full.
That bus is so empty.
I'm like, we're literally the first one here, like, and who is Edward sitting next to? Who is Edward sitting next to? Honestly, because if we have Alice and Jasper, Rosalie, Emmett, that means there was a free seat next to you, Edward, and now you're making rules that don't exist. And if it wasn't Edward's, like, weird actions, then Bella mannerisms definitely, everything's so pretty and dark and,
it's my lip gloss.
It's fine. It's
girl. What's wrong with you?
She's always like gasping and like bracing herself for some demon she's personally fighting that we don't see.
She be moated.
And I don't know if this is like in the book, because I've been watching a few videos of people like breaking it down, and they talk about how Bella like purposely kind of makes herself woman in distress when it benefits her. So I feel like that's what, oh, help me. Oh, no one understands. It's like, that's what I'm getting. Like,
I'm scared of you, but I like it.
She's like, no, not even, because she wouldn't be like, she would be like, I'm not scared of you. I know what you are.
No, she says that, right? But then her face and her body
would be like, I'm not scared of you.
I'm not scared of you. I know what you are.
Then say it out. We're not even at the scene yet. And then another scene that was really like, are you serious, Edward? Are you really gaslighting me? So frosty over there, or rainy. There's this guy driving a truck and the truck flies off the road, tries to hit Bella. Edward jumps in the way. Ugh! He stops the truck with his hand and then looks at Bella. He's like, ugh. And then jumps out the way. Bella gets taken to the hospital. She's fine. The other guy's fine. And then we get introduced to Mr. Adopt-A-Date.
I'm a doctor.
Mr. Adopt-A-Date himself. himself, Dr. Carlisle Cullen.
Edward helped me. He did.
My son. And then she's like, he got there so fast. Sounds like you were lucky. Just like, ooh, the whole family of gaslighters. Oh, are you really about to sit here and act like you don't know what your son's capable of, Mr. Carlisle? Quick playing. I forgot the guy who accidentally hit her, but he's like on the other side of Bella, like in between the divider, but it's open, and he's just like, I'm so sorry, Bella.
Am I wrong? He's like the one black kid in the whole town.
He's the only black guy besides the other one black vampire.
He's like the one black guy in the whole town, and he almost murders
representation. Representation.
Almost murders the main character.
Bella's fine. She gets released from the hospital, and guess who's there? Mr. Edward Cullen. And she's just like, wow, what strong teeth you have. Like, and she,
okay, well.
she's literally just like, you got there pretty fast, bro. You bent a truck with your hand, bro.
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
She's like, I saw you was there. He's like, you hit your head. No, I didn't. He's like, I saw what you did with your hand with your truck. Well, no one's gonna believe you anyway.
If only there was someone who loved you.
That's exactly the vibes that I got. Well, no, he says, well, no one's gonna believe you, so. And then she goes, I wasn't gonna tell.
But she's so confused. She's like, I'm just asking you what happened and how you did that.
I literally wasn't gonna tell anybody.
One answer. Can you answer one of my questions and not gaslight me, please?
And then she goes, like, if you had this much problem, like, telling me the truth, you should have just let the truck hit me. Like, you would have been fine. If none of this, we wouldn't be here, Edward. I'm just saying, we wouldn't be here.
You could have sucked my blood when I was dead in bed.
Yeah, you could have been like, I got her, I'm gonna take her to the hospital, eat me or something. I don't know.
Like, I don't care. Like, it could have been so simple.
Something, not, your existence is pain to me. Then we get introduced to the movie's villains, which is Victoria, James, and Laurent. Years after watching the movie, I find out that they had to fight to get Laurent in the movie, and I didn't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
That's why that black man was hitting her.
I honestly thought Laurent's character in the movie was great. He killed it, in my opinion. But to know that it was a fight to just get
her whole thing. What did she say?
Excuse me. This sounds like Tim Burton saying black people can't play dead people. It would just ruin the aesthetic. Just like, what? Are you kidding me?
Which is crazy because a lot of black people have the face shape that he uses.
Yeah.
To build his like makeup.
The big eyes.
The big eyes.
The distinct features that can be on anyone.
Literally anyone.
I just don't like the excuses. Stephanie.
Can you say I don't want them? Just say it.
Just say it. If you don't want me.
Because what's crazy is that the fans who love them will still be their fans.
I still love the movie knowing that you don't want me to watch your movie.
As a film student, we got.
As growing up as a black person, you kind of have to get used to your idols hating you. The people you like just not even caring about your existence.
It'd be so scary sometimes.
Because I'm just like, I know people were shook with J.K. Rowling, but that's like every other artist.
She doesn't hate black people. She just hates trans.
No, but I'm just like, for them, it was like a shock, But for us, it's like, I have to find out my favorite actors are racist, like, on a daily basis. I don't know, it's very...
Dude, I think the biggest one for me that scared me the most was Liam Neeson.
We have to do an episode. We'll have to do an episode on that because... what do you mean a black person, a random black person did something to someone you cared about and now you're going after all of them? Right? We are here talking about, I'll find you and I'll kill you. He's actually talking to us. He's talking to me. But in the movie, Victoria and James are dating and Laurent's like this weird third wheel because they were just like, I love you. No, I love you. She threw him against the tree and they start making it and then it just pans over to Laurent just standing there all broody, just like the first scene when they attack the fisherman, he's like, don't play with the food, James.
Why? You can even give him like a fourth dude just to like chill.
Yeah, exactly. Just the whole group was awkward, but I guess it kind of makes sense when you're talking about like vampires because not everyone's a vampire, so you kind of have to just stick with what you got. I'm sure if Laurent met the Cullens beforehand, it could have been a different story, but back to Bella. Throughout the first movie, you see this progression of a friendship that just doesn't exist, because Bella, I can tell you, is the worst friend I've ever seen. She gets to know two girls, right? And the two girls are just like, oh my god, we're going to this prom event. We're gonna go dress shopping. Do you want to come? It's gonna be in this city. And she's like, I need a ride to that city anyways. Sure. So she goes dress shopping with them, and they're just like, hey Bella, you came dress shopping with us as our friend. What dress do you like? Oh, I think these are nice. You said that about the last 10 dresses. Oh, I think they're all nice. Actually, I'm trying to go to this bookshop. Can I leave? And then she leaves, and they're like, see you for dinner. She leaves her friends.
Honestly, she could have, like,
tried.
A normal person would have tried and then be like, oh, can we hit the bookshop before we leave? And then, boom, now everyone's looking at books. Now everyone's vibing. Everyone's having a good time. And
I understand if you're trying to find a way to, like, separate Bella for this friendship that she just supposedly had with people. It wasn't, because there's no way.
They gave her I'm not like the other girls.
Yeah, because she's like, these girls are going to prom. I'm gonna go look at books.
They're Cinderella. I'm Bella.
What? She like, she wears short skirts. I wear t-shirts. She's church captain, and I'm on the bleachers.
Hey you.
And then Bella goes to the bookstore. She finds out a bit more information about Jake's family, and then a bit more about Edward's family, because Jake called them the cold ones. So she's looking at all these, like, depictions of, like, vampires throughout time, and she's like getting all of, like, this scene was amazing because she's like, they drink blood and they never sleep, they're cold to touch. And then after she leaves to go meet up with her friends for dinner, this is one of my favorite scenes, is when Bella gets approached by all these, like, creepy men, and then Edward whoops around the corner with his little minivan and then he's like, get into the car. And he's like, wait, what do you think you're doing? And then Edward gets in her face, you got the wrong idea, fool. And then he's just like, whoa, my bad, OG. And then they get back in the car. And then she's just like, are you stalking me? What's up, bro? Because you weren't here. Now you're here. They get in the car. She's just like, how did you know where I was? And he's like, forget about that. You should have heard what those guys are thinking. And he's like, ooh. She's like, heard what they're thinking? And he goes, oh, yeah, this foul, disgusting things. He's like, how do you know? Isn't it obvious? And then they go touch the radio or the air conditioning, and they touch fingertips, and she feels that he's cold. Which, I mean, I feel like...
He could have just been cold. He's outside.
No, I feel like you would have noticed that sooner. Like, tripping over this man and, like, being next to him.
And saved you.
Yeah, being next to him in class. And, like, you would have... Is it just to the touch? Like, I'm not sure about that part, but...
Listen, she did not care. Her eyes were... She felt the heat in her body. And it made up for it. And so she was like...
The dialogue for this movie is hilarious. It cracks me up all the time. They're in the car. He's driving like, tell me something that not make me turn around and rip their heads off. And she's like, put your seatbelt on. And then he goes, you put your seatbelt on. What? You can't get this anywhere else, I'm telling you.
Oh, let me tell you something. If that was real life,
it would have worked.
And the dude was like, I'm gonna pop their muffin cap black blue. And she goes, put your seatbelt on. He would have just been confused. He'd be like, are you serious?
Are you kidding me right
It would have calmed him down because of the stupidity. Because, what did you just say to me, girl?
So,
put your seatbelt on.
That final little finger touch tap, like, confirms to Bella that, hey,
I know what you are.
I know what you are. So the next day they meet up at school, and this scene, they're crazy. Bella sees Edward, and she's like staring at him, and then she just walks past him. And then she just starts walking into the woods, and then Edward's just like, okay. And then you just see, like, it pans out, and you just see their, like, tiny little bodies just, like, distancing up.
And it's like...
Okay, that's good, that's cool. And then you get in the woods. I swear this scene When I was
How'd
a
she know
teenager,
he's gonna follow her? Because he can even read her mind. She's so confident.
She knew her power.
Listen, she's so confident. Out of everything, she's not confident anywhere else. But in that moment, the way she knew, she didn't have to look at that man. He was gonna follow her in the woods.
And this is before she knew, like, how. Well, you know, he did say, like, he told Bella that he's very protective of her. And while they're in the restaurant, he says, like, I don't think I can stop myself from being away from you. And she's like, then don't. Crazy. Love that. Love that.
I'm not following no one in the woods. I'm sorry. I don't care how much I love you. You could be dating for 5 years. Why are you walking in the woods?
Okay, but you know, it's like that, there's this Key and Peele skit, where it's Jordan Peele playing this girl named Megan. And they're just like, gosh, you're gonna leave me alone.
Oh,
like,
I know you're
stop.
talking about,
Like,
he just
God.
followed her.
And then
That's what
he's
they
like,
die.
he's like, fine, I'll stop following you. And then she like looks back, she's like, oh. And he was like, babe. He's like, stop, leave me alone. Gosh, stop. And then they keep going into like you see the couples that ended up in the same. I think it's that energy.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, that makes more sense.
Bella finds out what Edward is, and it's a vampire. In this scene, my 13-year-old like puberty brain was sparking up during this scene because they were just saying the right stuff for me. Like, there's the music, how close they were, the tension. It was just like, ooh, you can cut it. It's so thick. It's delicious. I loved it. I loved it, honestly, because she goes in the wood and she goes, "You're incredibly fast. You're strong. You're cold. You're pale. I know what you are." And he's like, "What am I?" "Say it out loud." "Vampire."
And then just quick as lightning.
And then he's like, "You don't know how much power I have. You don't know. I can crush you right now. You don't know how much blood I have in my
Can we talk
hand."
about the choice he used to showcase his power? Do you remember what he did?
He's like, "As if you can outrun me. As if you have the strength to fight me off." And then rips the chain. Man, I fucking love this movie so much. As if you could fight me off. My favorite line.
Like, why?
My favorite line. They're in the woods still, and he's just like, she's like, "I'm not afraid of you. I can handle it." And then he jumps on like a branch, and he's like, "You're like you're like a drug to me. My own personal brand of heroin." I'm just like, this is, where'd he get this from? This is poetry.
Nicotine.
One was like, "I gotta stay high all the time." He was just like, "You don't know how dangerous I am." And he's like, "Watch this." And then he goes in the sunlight and shows his skin. And then she's just like, "You're beautiful." And he's like, "This is the skin of a killer, Bella."
I'm sorry, if a guy was sparkling in the sun, I would rethink, are you even a vampire?
Honestly, it was like, I thought you were gonna show me your burning flesh in the sun.
And then run back in like shade or something, but you just sparkled?
At least in Vampire Diaries, they had a ring or some type of like
protection.
Yeah.
A reason. Damon, I love you.
And then the scene where they officially start going out. I love the scene because they pull up in the same car together. He opens the door, he has his shades on, he throws his arm, he's like, "Since I'm going to hell anyways, since you're breaking all the rules." And he's like, "Everyone's looking at us." He's like, "That guy's not looking at us." Oh, he just did. Oh my gosh, I love this movie so
I just like
much.
the idea of like, that was what really felt like a teenage little cute dream to me, because every teenage movie has them driving up in the same car, meaning he woke up extra early,
They go
coordinated
pick her
outfits,
up.
and picked her up.
And now he's looking like cool as shit. He don't even care
He
anymore.
doesn't look tired.
He got his girl on his side, and then he like looks back at his family, and like all his siblings are in the car, just like, "Are you sure about this, bro?"
And he's like, "I got it."
Then Edward decides to up their relationship even more by bringing her to his house.
Mistake.
This scene was really funny to me because Bella walks in the house and she's just like, okay, these are vampires and
I might die. I might not leave.
I might not leave. So she's meeting the family. They're just like, hey Bella, we're cooking for you. First time we've ever used our kitchen, just in case you're hungry and everything. And then she's like, oh great. And then Edward goes, she already ate. Rosalie breaks the glass bowl. She just breaks the glass bowl and was just like, oh. And everyone just kept cooking. They just moved on. The family cleans up after Rosalie does that little scene. Oh my god, this is where we really get a taste of the Cullens. Cause Alice is weird as shit, even though she's one of my favorite Cullen. She comes up to Bella, it's just like, he's like, what are you doing, Alice? It's like, no worries, me and Bella are gonna be great friends. Don't worry, Jasper, you won't hurt her. Just like, just like, don't talk to me.
Oh my gosh, she's treating Jasper like
a pet.
Her like little race, yeah, her little racist pet. It's okay, my dog doesn't mean to bark at black people. He just doesn't get out.
Speaking of that, Jasper, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about movies outside of the first one, but it's not until the third movie you find out Jasper is actually a Confederate soldier. So, Stephanie Myers, he could have been, like, the other side. He could have been on the other side. You know there was white people on that side too. But he was a Confederate soldier, and you were fighting so hard not to have a black vampire. What am I supposed to think? Almost had the black guy kill Bella. Stephanie.
I mean, it writes itself. Like,
it writes itself for real.
Out of all the soldiers, he doesn't even have to be a Confederate soldier. There's other wars.
That's what I'm saying. It could have been any other war. I don't know. I don't know why. He could have been a farmer. A goddamn farmer or something else.
Could have been anything.
You literally tied him you tied this character to the Confederacy by choice. I don't,
You sit with that, Stephanie. You sit and think about your actions.
Bad, Stephanie. Bad. So the Cullens, they tell Bella that they really enjoy baseball because it was a thunderstorm and it would just be great to cover up like they're hitting the ball.
Them playing baseball.
Yeah.
And a normal person would be like, why would you need a storm? Not just a rain, not just like a little thing, a thunderstorm to cover up you playing baseball. You're playing baseball, right? You know, just a little toss the pigskin. Why do you need a thunderstorm? But Bella just goes, oh.
And then you actually see them play, and the scene is everything, man. They got the blue tint going heavy. They got that music going right. Mm-hmm. And the way they play baseball, when they hit the ball, it sounds like thunder. Mm-hmm. So that's why they need it. And then they're running around. And that scene was so stupid because they're catching balls, whatever. And then Laurent comes out of nowhere from the woods. Y'all need a third player. You need extra on your team. Just like, no. So
and then they all make it very obvious that Bella's a human because they all just immediately start going.
They're on the deep, they're all like, nothing to see here.
There's no human behind us.
Nothing to see here.
No, y'all can't smell that.
Nothing to see here. And then, again, the wind just making Bella out here looking like a nasty snack. Blows in her hair blows in the... First of all, why did he say put your hair down? He tells Bella to put her hair down.
Neck, I think. That's what I thought.
But then I'm just like, her hair is literally just gonna... I don't know. Her hair blows in the wind, and it catches James' scent, and now he's like, oh... Sorry, he's a tracker. Now, Bella's never getting out of this alive. Just can you imagine? I invite you to go out to play baseball, and then you leave being hunted. So pretty much after that, they get hunted. A lot of crazy stuff happens. I'm not going to spoil the ending for you guys. You can watch it yourself, or you can rewatch it if you're like me. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe down below. Follow the channel at all our little social medias at hialiyah_. Follow the Daisy Duo podcast at Daisy Duo. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye!